Anyway, the game that happened just before that on Sunday night was the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Jerry World in Dallas, Texas, and taking down the Cowboys.
No cat this game.
No luck for the Cowboys this game. They lose 28-24, even in a game where Dak Prescott went for almost 400 yards and had 3 touchdowns. So, Storm, what's your reaction to this Cowboys loss?
Yeah, I was listening to a radio show or a podcast on Friday at work, and they mentioned something I thought was pretty crazy. They're like, whatever quarterback has the better stats is going to wind up losing this game. And my God, were they right? I mean, Dak Prescott just threw just under 400 yards. He had two touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, so, I mean, he played horrendous. Kirk Cousins, whatever. He did what he has done.
Yep, game manager.
But both of these teams are, if they're running the ball well, they're going to win the game. And that was the difference. Dalvin Cook had a great game. Zeke, not so much. And, Minnesota wound up on top. But you know what? I think what bothers me the most is that final punt at the end of the game when Tavon Austin had the whole left side of the field to run. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
The whole left side of the field. And I don't know if it was Jason Garrett or the special teams coach or someone tell him to do a fair catch. Why? Why would you do that?
No, I'm going to put that on Tavon, man. I saw him in L.A. and St. Louis for long enough. This dude doesn't know what he's doing.
I mean, I could have taken that up the left side.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Storm. I know you're passionate about this, but...
Listen, Dallas hasn't beaten a good team yet. They haven't beaten a team over 500 yet. The Eagles weren't over 500 at the time. They were playing crappy football as well. So, I don't know what to say about Dallas. They're extremely inconsistent. I mean, they're not the powerhouse people thought. And, Dak Prescott throws 400 yards and they lose. I wouldn't expect to see that, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to start from the Minnesota perspective, and I think what we saw was what we all basically knew. Minnesota has such a complete roster, and they just have a quarterback that nobody really has faith in. And you kind of saw that in this game right here. They really limited what they needed him to do. A lot of checkdowns, throwing it underneath a lot, really relying on that run game. He had good protection. So on the offense, the game script went perfectly for Minnesota. And
with no Thielen, too.
Exactly, with no Thielen. So if they can keep up this type of play on the offensive side, they're going to have no problems really making some noise in the playoffs. And then that defense, it's not easy to go up against the Dallas Cowboys and stop Ezekiel Elliott like the Minnesota Vikings were able to. It's not an easy task with the offensive line that Dallas has. And Minnesota did that, and they made light work of it. I don't know. It's tough when you're not seeing the rear view shot and seeing the holes open up. But Zeke Elliott just did not look like the Zeke that we've come to know over the past 3 seasons. So I give kudos to Minnesota there. Really excellent team. And Kirk Cousins, believe it or not, did not shit the bed in a primetime game.
It's a miracle.
He didn't play great. He only had 220 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, no turnovers.
But that's how they're winning the game.
Exactly, and that's how Minnesota needs to win games.
And that's what Dallas really needs to do.
Exactly. That brings me to Dallas. Dallas, to me, is almost identical to Minnesota in how they're going to win. You're going to ride the run. You're going to rely on some elite defensive players and plays that they could make. And you're going to ask the quarterback to make a few select plays in a few select spots during the game. Now, I do have more faith in Dak, and we saw during this game why. He's got the ability to kind of take over a game. But the 2 things that really concern me about Dallas in this game, one, we've definitely talked about before. They come out so slow, dude. They come out again 14-0. If you're able to either get some offense or get some stops early on, you win this game. They cannot play catch up like that. They need to be able to establish the run, like we just said, and keep games close. And number 2, even though I do feel they got to establish a run, at a point you have to realize that it's not working. I feel like midway through the 3rd quarter, it was run first down, run second down, make Dak convert a 3rd down conversion. And he was for the most part, but they just never gave up on that initial game plan. And I blame both Garrett and Kellen Moore there. You have to do something to really switch things up and realize that your quarterback is rolling, ride the hot hand. Yeah, because although I don't love Dak as a quarterback, he has the ability to do that from time to time, man.
And he's been playing pretty well. I've been impressed with his play all year, but the fact that they can't beat a good team or even when the game has to be on his shoulders, somehow they come up short.
It just doesn't make any sense because that roster looks so good. And
yeah.
Hold on. I would just like to clarify. You said they can't beat a good team. So just what Claire, the Eagles aren't a good team.
They
then.
weren't a good time then.
Oh, they weren't
then.
at the time. There's the loophole. They weren't that weak.
But I mean, you look. The defense really hasn't even played particularly well. I mean, you look at that loss to the Jets. You look at how many points the Dolphins put up in the first half. I mean, I know they went and kicked the crap out of them later on, but the defense still hasn't been that impressive.
Yeah.
For the players that they have, you have DeMarcus Lawrence, you have Byron Jones, you have Van Der Esch has been out, but Jalen Smith. I just don't understand what's going on here. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if
it has to be because they got the talent, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, you got to look at the head coach who's been there, the better part of a decade now.
He needs to go. I've been saying this forever. He needs to go.
I've been saying it as well, but that seat is especially hot after that loss this